I haven't seen Sherrod in a while, but you're always close to my heart because my wife's a big fan of Atlanta Housewives. And I know we mention it all the time, but their parts are getting bigger.
Yeah, they got bigger parts.
And they
now with bigger parts.
And my daughter's becoming more aware now that she's 7, and she talks about, like, Mommy, why do they have butts on their chest? This episode of the Opie Radio podcast sponsored by Hawthorne. Now offering personalized skincare, face cleanser, and face lotion tailored to your skin type and needs. And they got great colognes. Check out Hawthorne at hawthorne.co and use the promo code OPIE to get 10% off your first purchase. And before we get started, let's say hi to our good friends manscaped.com. Use the promo code OPIE to get 20% off and free shipping. Your balls will thank you.
What started my career, been there a million times, and I asked this, they go, hey, so what happened to this, whatever her name was, Renee the waitress, and they go, oh, she killed herself. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome this thing. It's like, what the?
That was off mic, but I'm keeping it in the podcast. Screw that, man. We are here at Gebhards. My friend, Tammy Pescatelli. Yes, I'm so excited that you're doing the podcast again. I wanted to show off my son of a peach beer,
Christ,
Judd Jones. I got to explain to Tammy Pescatelli.
This is a racist beer. I don't know if you're familiar with this.
I'm not.
Racism is within this beer.
It's from the mountains in South Carolina, so you got to think there's some racism behind this beer. And
incest.
Or incest. We didn't make that joke, Judd. That's the joke.
That's the joke.
Oh, man. With a little taste of incest. Son of a peach.
Incest never tasted so good.
Oh, my God. Wow.
No,
that's the beauty of the podcast. We can't get fired.
No, we can't. I gotta explain, though. So the last episode of the podcast, it was me. Sherrod tapped out the episode before that. So it was me, Judd Jones, and Vic Henley. And we did a perfect podcast, I got to say. Vic Henley's got a new CD out, or whatever they're called. What do you call these comedy downloads? Albums, records, downloads, whatever.
That sounds good.
But Vic Henley has one. It's called Hell is Real, and we came here to celebrate, and we did a perfect podcast, right?
Yeah,
perfect.
It's fun. Yeah.
And one of our super fans, Dick Cox, comes to Gebhards with a full bar. He rolled in a full bar to a bar.
That's ridiculous.
All these beer barrels behind you.
You see these barrels behind you. All of them had drinking accoutrement on top of all of it.
Yeah.
He had extra copper cups for fucking, what is it, what's the drink?
Oh, the
Moscow Mule. He had that.
Mules.
They were still wrapped in plastic as if he was selling them.
So the Russians have taken over your podcast, too? Is that what
he's
you're
a hillbilly
telling me?
Russian, if anything else.
He's a hillbilly with PTSD, so Matt was like, you know what, we'll just let Dick Cox do whatever he wants. So he brought in a full bar to a bar. But anyway, so the first episode was perfect, and we're promoting Vic Henley's download. It's great. It's funny. And all of a sudden, Vic's like, why don't we do another one? Why don't we do another one? And I'm like, I don't know if this is a good idea.
He's like, no, I'm good.
Yeah. So long story short, the last episode of the podcast was a drunken mess. We like to call them Wheels Are Off or Wheels Off. Carl, nicknamed our sloppy episodes the Wheels Are Off. So the last episode was one of those because the brown liquor came out from Dick Cox. I was just drinking the racist beer, but
Jameson was flowing.
Yeah, Vic was going all in.
Bottles and stuff. Yeah, it was happening.
So then Vic is like, I'm out of here, just throws his mic down and starts wandering off.
Podcast's over.
Yeah, podcast is over, he says. So we were supposed to get fried chicken at this place. If you want, we'll take Tammy to get some fried chicken.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
I'm the fill-in for Vic.
Kind of. Well, that's what we're getting at.
Can I just say, though, did you not expect that anything you drink from a man named Dick Cox is going to knock everything off its axis?
I forgot he has the weird name. We're just used to it.
I felt some optimism. I did. I felt some optimism, but it went off the rails.
You don't think that it was going to go a little bit awry?
So, Vic, so we're walking. The fried chicken is only 2 blocks away. And we're walking and talking, and I'm feeling all right, but we were drinking all afternoon. Next thing you know, you were with me because you were asking O&A questions.
And then Dick Cox
Yeah.
and Vic were walking behind us.
Yeah.
And then they slowed up and couldn't make the crosswalk or something. And then Dick yells at me about like, hey, and Vic's just kind of standing on the other side of the street. So I whistled at him. I was like, hey, come over, come over here.
Yeah, Vic was helpless. Is what I'm getting at.
He was done.
Because he's a true New Yorker, really knows his way around, walks fast and stuff. All of a sudden, he's at the corner where we already made the light, and he's just looking up at the buildings like he's a tourist and trying to figure out where he is.
Look, we've all been there.
Yeah,
and I wasn't too far.
Of course.
Him at this point, but I see I'm like, so I just whistle at him, like, come over, and I'm like down for chicken, right? They were talking about fried chicken. I went over there once before. They got deviled eggs. I'm all excited. So I'm like, okay, let's go do that. But then I see Vic, and it's like when you see the look in the eye of your friend when it's just like the 1,000-yard stare in death.
Right.
They're done. And I was like, hey, man, you want to get a cab? He's like, yes. And then we just slipped in the cab. I was like, all right, man, y'all take it easy. And we took off.
So we pushed him into a cab, and then I had dinner with Dick Cox.
Okay.
How's that? Nice.
But how does this make you racist? Because you needed fried chicken? Is that what it was?
So Dick Cox brought this beer up from South Carolina for me. You can't find Son of a Peach anywhere. And I went home with like a 6-pack, so I snuck a couple, in honor of Dick Cox.
So
I guess I'm bringing my own alcohol to
into the bar.
Right.
That's the new thing.
But I had to let the people know that that's how that episode ended, and it got even sloppier. And but that's what I love about podcasting. Anything goes. Like
that is the best.
Yeah, we just hang out here, and I don't know. Sometimes we drag people off the street and whatever.
Well, you'll get in trouble for that. You better be careful now.
We've had some crazy people in here.
I'm having a real issue communicating with millennials.
Wait, you're Xing out part of your shirt.
Yeah, on purpose, because my shirt says people person, and I don't want people to think I want to talk to them, so I took gaffer tape. And
that is nice. I like that.
People.
That's
so
great.
People will not want to talk
not
to
a people.
But I like how the shirt fits.
So you like the shirt so much you got to walk around with black tape?
Yeah. White letters, people
Hey,
person.
it's an art,
black
art
tape
form.
over people. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
That's great.
That
It
seems
is making
exhausting.
a statement.
I mean,
I can appreciate that.
Oh my God, I was ready to say something really bad, but in 2020 you got to be careful.
About boobs?
Exactly.
Well, I was thinking.
It's on my
I was thinking because it reminds me of Wendy O. Williams. What was her name? Wendy O. Williams?
Wendy Williams?
No, the punk rocker.
Porn star.
No, the punk rocker.
Oh yeah, she had it.
And she liked putting electrical tape just over the nips.
Right,
what's her name? Where's Vic?
Wait.
Shit, I know,
I want to say Wendy O. Williams or something like that.
No, but it was like that.
Okay.
It was wow.
Yeah.
It was wow.
Yeah. So,
I
I was going to make one of those jokes, but in 2020, you got to be careful. I don't know if you could get kicked off your own podcast. I don't know how that goes.
Listen, I got fired
if
from
anybody
my volunteer job. So.
You got fired from a volunteer job?
Yeah.
What happened?
You didn't follow the rules, I'm guessing.
Well, I just kind of thought that I was there and we were serving food and serving rice. It was at a shelter, and there was a gentleman.
Yeah.
He didn't want rice because he was a Vietnam vet, and he said he'd spent enough time with patties, and he didn't. And I was like, you know what, sir, you're right. And I threw the rice up because you know what, I just felt like, you know what, he makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
So I just took it and I threw it. And they were like, they did not like that.
Really?
I was like, well, I was trying to have my one-man parade for him. I was trying to help him from when he came back. He didn't get what he wanted, and you know what? It was a very satiant argument. He wasn't trying to, he wasn't crazy. He was just like, I spent enough time in patties, and now you guys are serving me rice, and I don't think that's, here I am, and you know I'm down on my luck, and you want to throw it in my face. And I said, you know what? You're right. Fuck it. And I threw the rice.
Some people kneel at a football game. You throw rice over your shoulder. I appreciate that. That's nice.
With our troops.
I used to hang out with my dad at the VFW halls, and he was with a lot of the World War II guys. Oh, they did not like sushi.
They didn't like that. That wasn't a thing.
Oh, no.
That wasn't a thing.
They were not happy that sushi joints were popping up all over the place because they were still holding a grudge.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
I remember when I was a kid, when Karate Kid became like a whole thing, and you could get the bandana thing you tie around your head, the white one with like the sun and all that stuff on it, right? My grandfather was a merchant marine in World War II, and he saw that when he came to visit one time and had a meltdown about it. Like, get that out of here, what we had to do, and went in on the whole thing, and I had no idea what any of that was. So I didn't wear that anymore.
You didn't want to question
when I'm doing my kicks.
Right.
Listen, I wish my grandfather was alive to talk about coronavirus, because he told me about it a long time ago.
Oh, he did?
What do you mean?
He thought that maybe it's the beer that's making me say this. I don't know. He thought that the Asian world was responsible for every problem that ever happened.
Wow.
Because he just said they didn't wash their hands after they went to the bathroom.
Well, they have a different way of going to the bathroom.
They don't, though, quite frankly.
They have to
it's not
squat into
cultural.
a hole. They don't sit down on anything. And
I saw that in Turkey.
well, most of the world, the Middle East, don't they use their left hand to wipe?
That's a whole thing over there that I can't even wrap my head around.
Do you know where I think coronavirus comes from?
Don't say Corona. I'll choke you out.
Oh, God. What are you
I'm so sick of that joke.
happy.
Yeah, go. Right, yeah,
I
right.
originally
so
said
sick
it.
of
I
that
said it when I first heard it, and then everybody.
Okay,
Right,
all right,
yeah,
fair
right.
enough.
No,
At
for
least.
real, I think this is true. Think about this.
Yeah.
Do you know how many people use their phone while they're going to the bathroom?
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, wow.
Then they get up and they wash their hands.
Right.
But they don't
Hopefully.
wash their phone.
But they don't wipe down the phone.
Get the E. coli right there.
I think that's brilliant.
Oh.
Right.
How about that, Tammy Pescatelli?
I'm thinking of I think you should put your phone in a Ziploc.
I think it's because they decided
yes. Yes.
I think the coronavirus started because they think bats are delicious.
It's so ridiculous.
What is up with that?
And
Is that
supposedly
it?
they're
Yeah,
cutting down
right.
forests so the bats are closer to the people, and the people are thinking, we might as well eat these things, right?
But do you think that this is some kind of conspiracy in a sense? Because they have never told us about anything before.
Yeah.
Nothing. There's never been anything. You know how, like, chicken pox is back,
Right.
smallpox is
Right.
back. The Amish community, I live in Pennsylvania, Amish community
Yeah.
has had everything that we've ever cured, and they still have it to this day.
Yeah.
Like, I remember being with my son at a Walmart when he was like 3 months old, and the Amish people came down the aisle, and I was like, it just clicked in my head, and I left everything in the cart and grabbed him.
Like, move
and took
over.
off, right?
Yeah.
Like, I
don't
just like,
blame
I was like, get the hell out of here. They look nice, and I'm sure they're kind, but
Look.
they definitely have a third world disease.
The Amish are a little strange. I'm not going to lie to you. They want everything from the old days. They want no electricity,
All the
and they
above.
want the old diseases.
Yeah, and they
Bring
want
it on.
You want
land
all that
and no
stuff.
tax. That's
Huh?
the other thing that pisses me
No
off.
tax?
No tax. Because they're a religion, so
Right.
they don't pay taxes. They don't, but yet they're on the road.
Right.
Right. They're
Yeah.
on the road with their horse pooping all over.
Don't mess with me with the no tax thing.
Why? Are you,
I was at
are you-
church. I was at church growing up.
Oh, that's right. That's right. You were.
Did I tell you that story?
Yeah, you told me the story. Your
Okay.
father. That's so cool. You
My
should
dad
continue that
decided.
church.
My dad decided to become a church because he figured out through his buddies. My dad was an entrepreneur. I honestly, to this day, don't really know what he did.
Okay.
But every once in a while, he would hit, and we would have money, and then we'd be poor for many years, and then he'd hit again, and
called
we'd
the
get a.
mafia.
He was
Tied in.
into
Right,
he was
right.
into all sorts of stuff, including he was convinced it was all about free electricity. I'm like, Dad, if all of a sudden, we discovered free electricity, that would just collapse the economy. They'll never allow free electricity to happen.
Yeah.
He believed in all
He
this
just
stuff.
meant he was hooking up
Oh,
to
yeah.
your neighbors.
But one of it,
One in a line.
one of his scams to his friends, though, he's like, if you set up your own church, then you don't have to pay all sorts of taxes.
Yeah.
So when I was growing up, I'm just a teenager, just trying to get along and fit in with everybody. When I left the house, I had to bring a tax exempt certificate with me. So when my friends were buying their new sneakers or whatever we were doing that day, I had to hand it in because
shit,
my
yeah.
parents insisted, do not pay taxes.
Don't do it.
And then if we went home and they said, did you use your tax exempt
Did you pay any taxes today?
And if I said no, I was too embarrassed. That would be a major problem in my
I
family.
would have called you Tea Party.
Right, yeah,
That would have been your nickname.
But
for
the
me.
coronavirus is, I don't know, it's a little scary, don't you think? Are you a little...
No.
You're
I
not
don't-
nervous.
I go back and forth. Like, at first I was, and then the more the hype about it, they never tell us about stuff.
Yeah.
AIDS had to kill 500,000 people practically before they told us about it.
Yeah, but you had to get popped in the shitter.
Yeah.
I mean,
But let me tell you something.
I
I still think
mean,
I'm getting
this
AIDS.
thing. I just shook the hand of the bartender at
Same thing.
Gebhards,
Right, now
and I'm paranoid.
concerned. Right, yeah.
I mean, there's a
I'm
bit
not
of a
trying to be
difference.
silly, but
No
the-
offense to my friends out there, but I mean,
Right.
you could pretty much control your destiny with that,
I
right?
don't know why you would
No,
even
there was
say
a
that.
time you
Do you
could.
know how many times they invited me into studio after some decrepit prostitute
Oh, my
had
God, right.
been on the mic before me,
Oh, my
and you
Lord.
got the unmitigated balls to literally say
know.
something to me? Some dirty homeless whore had been up on the microphone, and she exits, or he, or whatever
Whatever it was.
And, hey, Tam, take
Come
that
on
seat.
in, Tammy.
Sit down,
Where do
Tammy.
you want me to sit? Right there, where Herpes X was sitting.
Yeah.
Why don't you sit over there?
Look,
just put a towel on it.
There are assholes out there that listen to every word. So I do have to say, when the AIDS epidemic first started, there was a period where they didn't know how they were getting it. So I need to say that.
Right.
Although I'm pretty proud of the joke I just came up with, but I want to keep it. I want to keep it accurate.
You might get kicked off your own podcast.
Yeah,
if anybody could do it.
But with the coronavirus, you are kind of right, because in the old days I would handle homeless, duty and all this, but I'm now worried about. I don't know, though. I shook the hand of the bartender right away. And you were nervous, too, because you gave me some of your...
Well, I've got the spritz. If you want the spritz, I've got the spritz.
You need a spritz?
You want a spritz?
Yeah.
I've never washed my hands so much in my life.
Well, that's even bad, too, though. But see, it's good. I'm Italian. We grew up with bleach, everything, everywhere. People would bleach. My mother would try to bleach her hands.
Why?
It was crazy. But, she'd always
Why would
like
she bleach her hands?
Because she didn't want you to get sick.
Oh, okay.
And she tried to... Wow, look at that.
And know what the other thing I realized, Judd Jones and Tammy Pescatelli?
Yeah.
I touch my face a lot.
Yeah, in your
See,
eyes.
I don't.
Because that's one of the things they're saying. Don't touch your face. Don't put your fingers in your mouth. I do all that. I just realized.
I don't do that. Did you see the Bloomberg video when he's sucking his fingers? Did you see this? It just came out the other day.
What? No,
he's
nor do I ever want to see
it's
it.
disturbing as I'll get it. Like he's at his campaign headquarters in Virginia, and they got the coffee in the box and everything, like a little craft area. Mm-hmm. And he goes and gets a pizza, tears off the crust, drops the crust back in there, eats that pizza, licks all 4 fingers, and then touches the coffee box in the middle of the Corona. This is what he's doing. Like, I just can't even imagine.
Yeah, but I think if you're a billionaire, you're just convinced that there's no way you'll get that.
That's
stuff.
my coffee.
That's
what
he's buy
saying.
a new liver.
Right.
He's
Or
not
lungs,
worried
whatever
about
the hell
it.
it's.
You're talking of that's
No,
1% problem.
But we live in New York, and it's like
it's over.
I'm not going out as much. I'm not going on the subway. I'm bummed that I shook hands with someone here at Gebhards.
It's the flu. Just be conscious of hands. It's that simple. It's not all that.
People die of the flu every year. I don't get vaccinated.
It's going to get way worse before it gets better.
But this is not like the germ movie monkey with the Ebola or some
that's
shit.
That's the problem.
That's not what it is.
We think it is. We're Walking Dead fans. We're watching all those things.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is it. This is the zombie apocalypse.
Yeah.
I got to set up my gate. Come on, here,
Well, it doesn't help that we shop at a Chinese supermarket. That doesn't help. And the delivery trucks the other day, I wish I took a picture of this. They had the full masks with the shield on the back of the truck before they were unloading the goods.
Spit shield there.
But these guys, and this is the reality of it, none of them put the gear on. So obviously the owner of the trucking company was trying to take care of its workers with the shield and the mask and a hard hat. I didn't get the hard hat part.
Do you know how many diseases?
And none of them put it on. It was just a pile on the back of the truck as they're unloading it into my Chinese supermarket.
Do you know how many diseases we're getting? I mean, I love animals, but the dogs that shit on the sidewalk and people barely pick up anything. How about on the shipping industry? People get their clothes, they don't wash them. They've already been sprayed with all these pesticides.
Yeah.
Amazon brought those stink bugs, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, yeah.
I think we never saw those stink bugs until we had Amazon.
You're seeing more stink bugs?
I never had seen stink bugs before. There was Amazon.
That's interesting. You mentioned it again.
It's a think tank.
But the shipping industry, even like if someone were to buy tractors from China, let's say, and I had ships that did this, and they were bringing them in, if they had dirt on them, it's like quarantine, lock it down.
Really?
Like, got it? Because it could be any bug in there
Right.
that's going to come decimate the almonds or some shit. Like who knows?
You know that we weren't supposed to have rats in America, right? You have to know that being from the shipping industry.
Oh, dirty.
Really?
They came over from Europe. The brown rat is not from here. And the funny thing is, we're in New York City where they literally say at any given moment you're within feet of a rat.
I see one
There's
every
so
day.
many rats.
Every day.
But there's so many tunnels underneath all the sidewalks and everything. They're like,
dirty.
I one of my favorite books ever, but it creeped me out, it's a book called Rats, and it's the whole history. And they talk about when you walk around New York City,
Chapter 1.
When you walk around New York City, you're no less than a few feet from a rat at all times. Right now, there's a rat within feet of us.
Guaranteed. Guaranteed.
And I'm like, there's no way. And then they explain.
Well, if you're in Brooklyn, they all tell.
Yeah, then they explain the tunnel systems they got under the sidewalks and in the buildings and everything else. So.
And wait, and let's also talk about this. You're worried about coronavirus. This is the city that had the biggest bed bug infestation
that is
in the 21st century.
But it's not going to
just a year ago.
But it's not going to make your.
Disgusting.
Yeah,
What
yeah.
about the lice? They opened up stores.
I was more concerned about that. I was.
Because you couldn't go into theaters because
Yeah.
kids had lice. And people, I'll never forget, I was at my mother-in-law's house. She lives right in Park Slope. My kid's playing, he was about 4 years old, on the stoop with my niece and nephew. They're about 4.
Yeah.
She brings her kid over. She lives one house away, this doctor lady. And she says, I found some nits today in his hair. And I was like,
Nits.
get him out of here.
Get him out of here.
First I go, did you say nicks?
What is that? Yeah.
Nits. And I was like, no, you
Oh,
gotta
nits.
go. I was like, you gotta go. And everybody was like,
Where's Sherrod
Tammy,
when we
why-
need him?
Yeah.
Oh, nits.
Oh, you got a hair bug? Get out. Oh, Lord.
Yeah.
Well,
and I was the rude one because she
Yeah.
just casually
Ah,
dropped
li-
that in conversation.
Lice don't bother me. When my kids puke, I'm the one that washes the sheets and the pillowcases. I don't give a crap. I get right in there with no gloves on.
Yeah.
Got to wash that stuff out in the sinks.
Yeah.
Okay.
But this
Jesus.
coronavirus is weird to me. I don't know. It's just
It's not all that. You even had the guy on that was talking about it.
Yeah,
I mean,
true.
That should have,
True.
kind
Dr.
of
Steve, a few
allayed
episodes
some
ago,
concerns.
he separated the facts from the fiction.
Yeah, you know that. And
It ain't all that. It ain't all that.
It can't be. They can't. They would never give us this much information. I mean,
that's true. That is
I mean,
Well-
they really wouldn't give us this. We're
Well,
idiots.
This is where, oh boy, I don't believe in my government. I think there's so many more people that have it, but they don't want to have the test kits out there because they don't want the numbers to get out how bad it actually is.
Right.
Right? Can we at least agree with that?
I agree.
Okay.
I also agree
That makes
that
sense
they
for
have
the
the cure
narrative,
for
yeah.
cancer.
Huh?
Because
Yeah.
I happen to know a guy who came up with a machine. So listen, I live in Meadville, Pennsylvania. There was a man in Erie, Pennsylvania when I was a kid who was all over the news, and I wish I could find it, but all the clips are gone, who came up with this thing to reverse your cells.
Right.
So it was almost like this. I don't know how to explain it, but it was kind of like when you walk through a metal detector.
Right.
It would reverse your cells. It
Right.
really took your energy and switched it, and they felt like it was the precursor to curing cancer, right?
Right.
And it was a big deal, and everybody was talking about it. Then he ended up dead,
Oh, yeah.
and the machine was hidden.
Yeah.
No one. I've never heard about it again.
Right.
He was killed under an
Car accident.
overpass.
Or
no,
yeah.
no, like on drugs, like on.
Oh,
A,
shit. He overdosed.
Over the years,
Right.
when Bill Burr would come on the old radio show, I mean, he loves a good conspiracy theory, but there was a lot of really good ones out there. The guy that invented water to run your car. Look up the story of that dude.
Yeah.
He died mysteriously.
yeah,
Some kind of food poisoning. I don't know what happened. But he was announcing to the world that, hey, we don't need gas anymore. I figured out how to run your
right.
car on water. This guy was dead within a week or two.
Right?
Yeah.
I do believe in that stuff.
Yeah, pays
because
to be an idiot.
because I-
Don't tell
Yeah,
anybody.
right.
I do believe there might be cures for some of these diseases that take out so many people, but there's a whole industry behind it. We actually
Our
can.
economy would be decimated. The world's economy would be decimated if cancer was cured.
Well, dramatic changes like that will destroy the world's economy, and that
really
has to be taken into consideration with a lot of these things. I believe that shit 100%.
Too many people live. It's a
100%.
Well,
It's a
that's
problem.
my thing right now. I've been saying, not to say a joke, but I open up my act with people like, I go, if you're sensitive, the problem is too many generations are alive at the
Still
same time.
kicking.
How am I supposed to entertain 7 generations
Yeah.
in one show? You're not supposed to be sitting with your mother and your grandparents and your kids.
Right.
I can't do that. Like, I need one demographic.
Oh, I
and
love
move
that.
towards it.
My favorite thing is every generation wants to be the last generation too. Every generation believes they're the most powerful one, and they know better than the ones that came
Right.
before them and the ones that will come after them. And that's always a tug of war in our society,
I
right?
can't communicate to millennials.
No.
I can't communicate.
You can explain what's going on. He's got a
pulled the
flask.
flask out. But here's the funny thing. I don't think I've seen a flask since Magnum.
Since
Well,
I
I'm from
Magnum
Texas, so it's kind
PI.
of standard. But
That's
this is what I'm talking about. They
hysterical.
don't have Jack Daniels here.
Yeah.
And
So
I
he's
actually feel that I put a lot of money in here that I feel safe that we have
Matt's
a good
cool.
relationship.
Yeah.
But I'm like, they don't have Jack.
Tell Matt he'll put Jack Daniels on
still
the
waiting
menu.
for you.
But I
haven't seen a
like
flask
dick.
since I was a
Dick
skier.
Cox showed up with all
That's
this stuff
hysterical.
last time, and now here I am
I
bringing
love
my
that
own
you
shit.
had a flask. I just
And
that
I'm
always had
literally
And I'm
was
pulling
like-
out racist beers from my
Right.
backpack.
Bring your, if this guy, I hope he never listens to this pod. Because
He loves
literally,
us.
he lets you do whatever you want, and you bring
He
in
don't
your
ca-
own beer.
he
He's
don't
got a
care.
flask.
That's why we love
that's
Matt.
a
He
good
don't
point
care.
there.
Funny.
Yeah, right.
I think I'm going to charge a cover for people
doesn't-
over
Sure.
here
Right.
and pocket it.
He's awesome. All right, we'll get back to Tammy Pescatelli in a minute or two, but I got to take this moment to welcome a brand new sponsor to the Opie Radio podcast. Hawthorne. What's going on, Hawthorne? It's hawthorne.co. That's Hawthorne with an E, and use the promo code OPIE to get 10% off your first purchase. It's personalized products for you, my friend. Face cleanser, deodorant, shampoo, body wash, lotions. This is what Hawthorne is all about. You go to their website, hawthorne.co. You take a little quiz. They ask you about your hair. Do you have the thin hair? Do you have the heavy hair? Do you have the oily hair? Is it a bit on the dry side? And they also do that for your skin type and other things and needs. So I did it for my hair. I did it for a cleanser for my face. And I did it for their cologne, and their cologne is awesome. I think I like their cologne the most. I would go to this. I was gonna say I go to the supermarkets for cologne. Actually, it got really bad, but not that bad. I went to all the places where you get your cologne, and they spray it on you, and then you're thinking at that moment, "Oh my God, this is so nice! I gotta get some." And then within a week, you're throwing it in a drawer and forgetting about it, right? Because it wasn't meant for you. It wasn't right for you. It got so bad with cologne that I was smelling like my bathroom. And when I got the brand new cologne from Hawthorne after I took their mini quiz, I put that cologne on, and my wife's like, "Damn, you smell good." And then she goes, "You don't smell like the bathroom anymore." Because I gave up to the point where we had this little spritzer in our bathroom that kind of had a nice, I don't know, like a lavender smell to it with the little orange in there. And it was supposed to spray around for your poo, but I liked it so much that I would spray it on my body. I'm a mess. So anyway, I'm not doing that anymore because of Hawthorne. Thank you very much. You take a quick 2-minute quiz, and Hawthorne tells you the 2 colognes that are best for you. One for work and one for play. I got both of them, but I don't really work, so I'm really using the one for play mostly. Totally risk-free, by the way, with free shipping and free returns. Check out Hawthorne for yourself at hawthorne.co. That's Hawthorne with an E, HAWTHORNE. Use the promo code OPIE, OPIE, to get 10% off your first purchase. That's Hawthorne, HAWTHORNE, Hawthorne.co, and use my code OPIE to get 10% off your purchase. Hawthorne.co. I think we got time for one more. I got to talk about my friends at Manscaped. Manscaped.com, promo code OPIE, OPIE. I love that they say in their copy, and I'm not supposed to acknowledge their copy, host to talk about a time when he's hurt his balls while manscaping, or a funny manscaping story. You know, when I finally started shaving my my balls, the hair was so ridiculously long that I actually used scissors, and I would pull the hair tight and then try to get the scissors as close to my balls as possible. And you know the rest. I would cut my balls with the scissors. It would be a bloody mess. It would just be a complete and utter nightmare. Manscaped understands all this. That's why Manscaped has redesigned the electric trimmer. The Manscaped engineering team spent 18 months perfecting the greatest ball hair trimmer ever created and just released the new and improved Lawnmower 3.0. Their third-generation trimmer features a cutting-edge ceramic blade to prevent manscaping accidents. Millions of balls are about to be nick-free thanks to Manscaped advanced skin-safe technology. And they got a premium product. Their battery will last up to 90 minutes, so you can take a longer shave. If you need all 90 minutes, though, you're in trouble, my friend. Oh, my God. Who needs 90 minutes to shave their balls? Oh, my God. And they got a LED light. You know what that's for? So you can get every area, because you're going to be lifting stuff and pulling stuff to the side, and you're going to need that light to see exactly what you're doing. And they've upgraded to a 7,000 RPM motor with quiet stroke technology. Oh, it should be more like... All right, get 20% off and free shipping with the code OPIE, O-P-I-E, at manscaped.com. Your balls will thank you. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code OPIE, O-P-I-E, at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com. Use the promo code OPIE. Manscaped.com, you know I love you. Thank you. Now back to Tammy Pescatelli, Judd Jones, and myself at Gebhards Beer Culture. Awesome. What were we talking about?
I can't communicate to millennials.
Oh, millennials. Okay.
Yesterday, I'm running around doing press for this thing that I'm part of on Showtime.
Oh, yeah.
They send their publicist to go with me, a beautiful young girl.
Right.
But 25, 26 years old. We're having a conversation. I hear about her father that works in a theater in Pennsylvania. I think we're talking. Right?
Like humans.
Like,
yeah, right.
I think we're having a conversation.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, she says something about Instagram. I said, I don't really do Instagram because I can't get verified on there. Because my maiden name was Pescatelli, but I got married, and my married name is Palunk. I could say that. But I still use Pescatelli for work.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I can't get Instagram to understand that I'm the same person. I've sent them my credit card. I've sent them my website.
Rocket science.
I say, you know what I mean?
Wow.
They can't. They just refuse. They refuse to verify me because my physical ID doesn't say Pescatelli anymore. And she said, listen, she said, I think maybe we can help with that. There's got to be a way.
Yeah.
I said, that'd be great if you could look into
millennial.
it.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's it.
Sure.
Okay?
Yeah, nice.
Today, I thought, you know what? I'm going to text her. I never really do this kind of stuff, but she said she wanted to help, so I text her.
Yeah.
I mean, I could show you the text. I said something to the effect that, hey, you know how you were talking about maybe helping me get verified on Instagram? Would you mind looking into that for me, please? She said, sure. I said, thanks so much. She then, within 20 minutes, sent an email to my manager. Showtime publicists don't help artists become verified on
Jesus
Instagram.
Christ.
As if I had assaulted her.
Yeah.
Right.
This
Tammy's
is where
pushing too hard.
Right.
Right.
This is how guys get accused of sexual harassment. See how this goes back to the Me Too? Because I felt Me Too'd in a sec. I was like, what the hell just happened?
No.
I'm having to explain, no, I really
It's-
didn't. Oh, this is all that happened.
Yeah.
Like,
The entitlement of the younger generation is, my last, year or two in regular radio and satellite, it was insane, man. You had interns. Like when I was coming up, I slept at radio stations to learn my craft and get an opportunity. All of a sudden, these kids, I don't know what year it started, but all of a sudden they came in, and within a week they're wondering when they're going to get their own radio show. And then it got to a point they're like, what, you want me to go?
I think I know
you
one
want
of
me to
those
go get?
interns
You want me to go
by
get your
name.
coffee? You know how many times? Right. You know how many times I got coffee for radio guys because it was my way of staying in the building and they couldn't leave their
Staying in the
spot
game.
because they were on the board and on a microphone. So I was the guy running out for Dunkin' Donuts and pizza, and it was just part of what you did as an intern. And in between,
make it happen.
They
in between doing all those shitty chores, which I did myself, so when I asked someone else to do it, I was that guy, so I didn't feel that guilty.
Sure.
You were learning about radio, and then the guy would put you on mic, and you would pick up all this stuff. Somewhere along the way, man, the entitlement kicked in, and they're like, I ain't getting your fucking coffee. Go get your own fucking coffee.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
say it to me. Text me back and go, hey,
Oh,
don't
no,
do that.
that's the other-
You got to write over to her as if I did something wrong. Now, thank God I have that relationship
Dude,
with her.
my last staff, they would spend their time in the office just fucking shit talking me and everybody else, and they were so entitled and convinced that they could do what I do, and it was insane. And then the internships, you were at Sirius XM. I'm not gonna put you in a bad spot, but you know this. All of a sudden, somebody complained and they weren't allowed to have interns anymore unless they paid them.
Unless they paid 'em.
So as a company, they're like, we ain't paying. We'll pay maybe a couple interns. So I had actual really cool, because there were some people that were cool as interns and like, oh, I can't be here anymore because they didn't give me a paid internship. I'm like, well, would you work for free? And they're like, absolutely, I would, because I get it to just be around you and the show.
Yeah.
So I went to the bosses and they're like, and I'm not blaming them because it just became the world we live in. They were like, we can't do that. We would get in trouble. So I would have to say goodbye to these people that were willing to do anything to try to get their careers going.
Wow.
But because they weren't paid interns, they had to go.
Flip to, I said, I've never understood men more. She was a pretty girl, right? So had I said, maybe I even understand lesbians. Maybe if I had said, hey, do you? We'd have been walking down the street, and I said, I love Thai food.
Right.
And she would have said, oh, so do I. Hey, we should get some sometime. And I happen to be and go, hey, tomorrow when we do more press, you want to go get some Thai food?
Yeah.
Would she have thought I was hitting on her?
Yeah. Oh,
right.
Sure.
She would think that I was sexually harassing her?
Or that you hate Thai people.
Right.
Like it could have been that.
I love this conversation because since I became
so
a father of a daughter, sadly, I mean, my wife sent me down the road before that. No, I say sadly because I probably should have realized this sooner. I became more of a feminist, and I believe women most of the times. But then this Me Too thing is like, where's the line where we need to take out everybody, and where's legit shit that has been happening in these companies? I personally don't know. I don't know. It seems the Me Too movement is now gone way too far.
But I also think here's a problem, and I think as a woman, and I'll say this, they took their own voice away. When I was 18 years old, Poison asked me and my friends to come backstage.
Yeah.
We were thrilled to go backstage. Totally went backstage. Totally, right?
For what show? I need to know.
I don't even know. It was Rat and Poison.
Oh my God! You're one of those
shit.
It
girls.
was Rat and Poison.
Well, you're in the belly of the
Right.
beast there.
Right?
kidding.
Right?
Yeah, wow.
I'm 18. I don't know anything, right? I'm like, hey, that's cool. That's cool. Let's go backstage. This is cool, right? So we go backstage. Afterwards, I don't know what happened. Somehow, I find myself back there with, remember Ricky Rocket was the drummer?
Yeah, yeah.
And he was like, kiss me. And I was like, oh, no, I have a boyfriend.
Yeah.
And then he kind of blocked me on the wall.
Yeah.
And he said, kiss me. And I said, oh, no, I have a boyfriend. And I ducked underneath his arm and I left.
Of course.
There's no
Right.
fucking story there.
Right.
Because I had enough wherewithal to go, no, I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
Right.
So where was everybody else's voice? I was only 18-year-old girl.
Right.
I had no balls. I just knew how to. Now, he didn't get aggressive, but some of the stuff that they're talking about where these girls go back and they get their money and then they go back. If you rape me, I'm not showing up the next
Send an
day.
email, say, I want you to meet my parents.
They would claim
or some
that
shit,
they felt like they had to because of the power thing, and others feel like, well, if I didn't kiss, the drummer of Rat, I could have got
Poison now.
Poison.
I mean,
There's
poison, right?
Wait a
Right.
second. Rat was
I'm off
the
on my
only
80s
act.
band
classy little
info.
woman.
Right?
Yes,
Come on,
if I was
man.
going to get
Jesus.
anybody, it was
Yeah.
going to be.
They would say that they felt like the man has
Everybody
the
feels
power
that way,
over,
but there was a
over the
way
female.
that you had to
I just
carry
have to
yourself.
I have to just play the other side a little bit.
No, I know you. Of course.
But
you did.
others like yourself, you're like, no, I could handle myself and get out of this
And
situation.
then I never went backstage again.
Right.
Because
Right.
I knew what was happening
Yeah.
backstage. You didn't set
I mean,
yourself
in a way
up.
that makes sense.
Obviously.
But others
Yeah.
feel like they're in a situation that's tough, and they feel
yeah.
like I better do
I
something
totally
because it
get
could
it, and I
get
think
worse,
some of
or
them are
I've
real.
been wanting this career forever, and I don't know. I don't know.
Okay,
I
but
did-
then those are the choices you make. Then own your choices.
Right.
Correct? Like, if that's your currency.
Yeah, but you're a tough broad, and I mean that in a good way. There's
Yeah.
some women that feel like they can't get out of those
But we
situations.
also
That's
can't,
all I'm
like,
trying to
I'm
say.
going to get eaten alive in my new special. Not the one on Showtime. The new one that's coming
Yeah,
out.
good for you.
No, I'm going to
Congrats.
get ripped apart.
Oh, okay.
I was talking.
That's insignificant to me. That's nothing. That
no, I mean, I probably will get
No, but
hammered a
she's
little
very
bit with
sensitive because.
that, of the whole chaos that I went through prior. How about that? That's enough.
And we talked about it in the last.
Right,
you know what?
yeah.
It was well received. that me and you were honest.
Yeah, I mean, I think so,
I stuck up for Tammy because she went through hell with Amy Schumer. Right. We don't have to redo it again. You can go listen to that episode. I'm proud of it. I met her at a backstage at a theater, and I apologized to her because she was thrown under the bus, and I sat there, and I kind of sat on my hands and kept my mouth shut, and I knew it wasn't right. And so years later, we did a podcast, and I apologized to her. I believed her. Well, and,
just to wrap that up, I believed it was sincere, and I also knew the position you were in.
Right. I've never been a pussy. There was something that happened. I don't know what happened that day.
It was a weird position. The whole industry fucking caved on me, quite frankly.
That's because of meditation and Super Soul Sunday with Oprah Winfrey. And I also
think Trump was about 15 miles away, and there was just this glow that was happening. Right. I think we were all the because I was like, if the bomb is coming, it's coming now, right
that's
now.
That's it.
No, what scares me about Trump, and we're going to go back to your special because now you're bringing up Trump. So we were lucky enough to have him on the show a lot. I've told you that over the years. He probably did the show about 10 times, and he gave us great material, entertaining as all hell, but every time, and this pisses off people, but I got to experience it. Every time we hung up the phone, we would go, what an asshole.
Sure.
But, wow, was that entertaining.
Yeah,
Does that sum up Trump or not?
That's how
I don't want to be my president, but, man, he's a lot of fun to watch. But anyway, with the coronavirus, and I got to say it, and I got proof, and I'll put a link to the video in the description of this podcast. Trump famously on my show didn't believe in flu shots and never had the flu. He claims he never had the flu, and he doesn't believe in flu shots. And recently, he's trying to tell everybody, why can't we handle the coronavirus like we handle flu shots? Can't we just do flu shots to take care of the coronavirus?
Right. He was trying to tell
you heard this, right?
He was trying to tell the head of the health department, the little Fucci guy. He was like, oh, it'll be ready in a year. He goes, oh, well, maybe like a couple of months.
Right.
I was like, no, like I told you before, it's going to be a year. He's like, 3 months sounds good. Like he didn't even give a shit.
And isn't it just like the flu shot? Which he famously said on my show that he didn't believe in.
Didn't even believe
because he goes, you get the flu shot and then people get sick.
Well, he could have changed his mind.
That is a fact.
Wow.
That is a fact.
People who are running for president. We're looking down because I saw.
I thought you were looking down there.
No, but all these people running for president. Not to pick on Bloomberg or anything.
Pick on all of them. They all suck. Our next president's going to be something like 75 years old. I think we deserve better in America.
Be Trump,
and how about
it's going to be Trump.
Probably.
Everybody forgets.
It'll be fun at least.
New York was so nice with Bloomberg as the mayor because he picked up all the homeless people and sent them to the fucking suburbs.
He didn't play.
How about we're not talking about that?
I'll say this about politics. New York City is the last big city in America that doesn't have a true homeless problem. You go out west, holy
it got
shit.
really bad in L.A.
In general, we don't fuck around with the homeless here.
Really? They just get rid of them. They ship them out to the
Yeah, we're not allowing the camps to pop up like they do in San Francisco. Supposedly, Seattle is a disaster.
L.A. is horrible. It's now in the valley. It used to only be downtown L.A., so they let it happen.
Yeah.
Because unless you went to a Laker game, you never noticed it. That's all those people cared about, whereas the Lakers.
Sure.
And now it's out in the valley underneath the overpasses.
Well, L.A. had to get rid of the homeless so they could put up the Kobe memorials.
Right.
Excuse me.
Blowing a whistle at him. Get on there.
Excuse me. Kobe died with his daughter. Move.
Hold on.
Move your stupid tent.
I'll take on Trump. I'll take on Schumer. I'll take on Bloomberg. But I'm not fucking with the Kobe people.
I defend that shit.
Exactly.
I thought Ari...
They get excitable.
I thought Ari blew it with that, making fun of the whole whatever. That's a story for another day. But you're special. I didn't forget.
Oh, an Amber Alert goes off twice
during your taping.
Yeah,
like everyone's phones were popping off.
Yeah, and I can't make an Amber Alert funny. I can make anything funny, but an Amber Alert. What am I supposed to say? Oh, they took that bitch again. Like I don't know exactly what am I supposed to say. Like I don't care as long as it's not my kid. As I can see my kid, it's okay. Like I have nothing to say, so I just kind of have to pause and shut down.
Right.
Or otherwise they're going to hate me. So I started a joke, and I said, you can't read 50 Shades of Grey and then complain about equal work for equal pay.
Wow.
And there's more to the joke, but an Amber Alert went off. And I didn't finish it.
Oh, shit.
So it's just going to say in the special, you can't complain about read 50 Shades of Grey and then complain about equal work for equal pay.
Oh, the
and
women
you know
are
the
gonna go
feminists are gonna
nuts.
go. Lena Dunham's gonna be fucking camped
Right.
out in front of my house.
How do you feel with what's going on in comedy, man? I mean, they're going after you guys.
Not me. They already went after. That's the beauty.
I just mean in general.
But see, that's the beauty for me. Now anybody who's gonna go after me, I don't care anymore.
Good.
I say it straight up in my act at the beginning. I walk on stage
Right.
at a club and I'll go, "There's an exit over here, an exit over here,"
Right.
like a flight attendant. If there's any point I say something you don't like, you could go.
See, we've talked about this off mic, and you're never supposed to talk about a lady's age. And Tammy Pescatelli, I am here to say, is hot as all hell.
Smoking.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
I'm
Rock
50.
show.
But we're about the same age.
Yeah.
And you get to an age.
You look terrible. But she looks pretty good.
Hysterical, Judd. Are
She's
you
all
drinking,
right.
Judd?
She's
Judd,
all right.
get that
Okay,
flask
that's
out
all
again.
right.
I need another racist beer.
Get that flask out again, Judd. I like it.
I mean, Tammy's all right, but I
Hey,
mean,
I'll
shit.
bring- could you
No,
This
no
guy's
kidding.
some Jack.
But that's hilarious. But my point is, I'm finally at where you're at. I'm like, whatever, dude. Listen to my podcast or not. I'm gonna say some shit. I don't have bosses anymore. I don't have toxic people around me anymore. I'm just gonna have fun and say what I'm thinking. And you're at that same stage, which is it's a nice place to be, right?
I say at the end of my act, if you enjoyed me, great. Next time I'm here, come back with 4 of your like-minded friends. If you don't come back.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to be an asshole, but go find someone who makes you laugh. It's not going to be me. Don't spend your time on social media trying to change me.
Right.
Because it's too late now.
Right. Ain't gonna happen now. Yeah.
Yo, hold on. Open that.
Oh,
Beautiful.
racism.
Another racist beer.
White supremacy.
Incest.
And I love these. I want them to send me some beer, so maybe I shouldn't say that.
You like that?
I don't think they're racist.
He'll probably drive them up in his truck.
Right.
He probably will.
Dick Cox would.
He would.
Yeah.
It'll be filled in
Yeah.
the back of his truck bed.
But I like
That's
that you
what
think
it is.
Son of a Peach might be more incesty.
Incest is best.
All the above.
It's the name of the. It's the
Kind of
little-
like. I don't like that. Well, see, you get in trouble. I like the
Just
joke.
saying.
I like the joke.
We said it.
I don't like actual incest
But
as much,
no,
but I like the
no,
joke.
not so much.
But does
Makes a
anybody,
good beer,
quite
though.
frankly, I mean, do you have to explain that? That
Yes,
was
you
the
do.
thing.
Somewhere in comedy now, if you make an incest joke, what you're taking incest lightly, and no, you could be totally against incest, but find the funny jokes about it.
Right. There's something
And
funny
for
about
some
it.
reason, these millennials, and are we below millennials now? Is there another?
Yeah, they're zennials.
What?
Is it Z?
Zennials, but millennials are the ones who are still upset.
How old are you if you're a
Zennials
millennial?
are like
You're still-
24 and under. They're good.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
Millennials are the ones that are still causing problems.
Wait, the Zills? What are they called?
Is that the Z? The
Zillennials.
Are they cooler?
Oh, I didn't know.
Yeah, they're supposed to be better.
Oh, okay.
Because they're our kids.
Because they don't understand comedy.
Like if I'd have hoard up a little bit earlier, they're underneath that.
Okay.
All right, look. How old's your kid now?
12. He turned 12.
12. All right. Yeah,
Wanna hear
you're
a
only a
story?
couple of years. I want to hear a story, and I want to hear about, raising a kid in this day and age because.
I'll tell you. Here's the story. Don't forget. Now I'm kind of an older parent.
Okay.
I'm 50.
All right.
He's 12. There's a lot of people in their 30s and stuff. There's like 1 or 2 that are my age, but really I sent them to a private Catholic school.
In New York, that's the average.
Right.
I thought I would be the old parent because I'm an old parent too, and I drop my kids off at school, and I'm like, God damn.
Well, let me tell
No,
you
in New York, people are having kids in their 40s easily,
Right.
and it's
Easy.
more of an average. You don't see. I got a 7 and almost 10, and I'm not seeing young 20.
But you have a young wife.
Well,
Right.
30. I'm not even seeing 30-year-olds.
Yeah.
But anyway, sorry.
No. But no, I think that's quite frankly what makes me. I don't know that I'm a good mom, but I try harder than I
Right.
would have in my 20s because
I would have been a shitty dad in my
Right.
20s.
I've
I hate
done
to say
everything.
that, but
Yeah, for sure you would have.
I hate to say that.
We were trying to do something else.
Right.
Whatever need for attention that we picked up a microphone was
Right.
not satiated in my 20s.
Right.
We had a cat that died 15 and a half, right?
Jesus.
It's our first, but it was our first death. It was. I'm not saying it was good, but it was a talking thing, right?
Was it a
He was
drawn out
sad.
death or was
No,
it short?
Quick. Like I came home off the road. He was sick. Took him to the vet, and boom, and we're all
Bummer.
crying. The next day at school, in the morning, they say a little prayer for our family, for our hearts, for the soul of the cat. Sweet, right?
Nice, very nice. Catholics.
Right. There's a little girl who's always been a little bit of an asshole anyway. She is annoying my son during the day, singing while he's trying to take his test.
Right.
He's like, hey, could you knock it off? I'm trying to take a test. She sings louder. He's like, come on, I'm really trying to do this. She sings louder. He's like, you're annoying. Okay, which is a little aggressive, but okay. He's also an 11-year-old boy at the time. She stops and looks at him and goes, how's your cat?
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
She went hard, 11 years old.
But my son, this is what I had to tell the principal the next day.
Oh.
But there's no bullying anymore in America.
My son said, well, listen, who had to go to the principal? Because my son said, how's your dad?
Wow.
Because her dad left the family when they were in kindergarten.
That's what you have to do. You got to go over the top. You have to go over the top on the second one.
Right?
You always do.
I had to go to the principal because
Good for
they
your
kept
son,
saying,
by the way.
Yeah.
They kept saying like, "Oh, a dad is more." I sat and listened to the principal's whole thing. A dad is. We appreciate that your cat passed away, but we do have to admit that a dad is much more.
Oh my God.
Important than a cat. And I said, I hear you.
Goddamn right
and
it
I
is.
want him to use his powers for good. But she drew first blood.
Yes.
Right.
She does not get to choose how he reacts. She wanted him to cry. Quite frankly, he's an 11-year-old boy.
Right.
He could have punched her
Yeah.
if he didn't have control of his emotions.
Right.
He's known her father left the family since kindergarten. He
Right.
never said anything about it prior to it.
Right.
She started it. This is what she gets. And if she'd have said that to me that day, I would have punted her.
Of course.
He used his words.
He did.
Absolutely.
I'm not going to stifle him. He's a comedian's kid.
That's an out of touch.
I love that.
That's an
That's
out of
great.
touch teacher though, because
Well.
you always go for the jugular, right?
Right. Well, but they,
But see,
were
they
saying,
can't even fight now.
But the
They're-
kid
but they're
saying,
saying-
"How's
Yeah.
your cat?" That's
Well, no, because she was hysterical, crying. You understand?
Yeah.
So then he said something about my dad, and so it negates what she started.
No,
he wasn't
that's
just
bullshit.
randomly walking around saying it. I mean,
Wow.
I also don't want him to be an asshole. I've said so
No,
many things.
no.
that
That's a good
I had
move, though.
quick
That is a good
comeback
move.
That I wish I could
I have
take back.
conversations with my son
is a
about
strong
bullying
move.
in school, and he's like, "Dad, none of it bothers me." I'm like, "Wow, really?" It's pretty fascinating. He's like, "Yeah, I know they're just being, he doesn't
Yeah.
say asshole, but he's basically saying they're assholes." You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
Well,
the
I was
the big
glad.
day for this was kind of a issue in my family, but one day, I was like, he's at that age, he needs to be able to punch someone in the fucking face.
Right.
So I started showing him how to punch casually, and he's got a really good punch. And there were people in my family like, I'm like, it's about confidence. So now my son knows, God forbid he's in a bad situation, he at least has that.
You want to know that.
Right.
I
feel
don't
good
want
about
him
that.
to do that, but my whole thing was teach him how to fucking punch someone in the face, because that will stop conversations, right? But I also tell him, look, you only use that if you really feel you have to, because if you do that, there is going to be major issues.
Yeah, 'cause you
and
can't
we're
be in school
going to be
anymore.
called
Right,
into
right.
school and all that. But you know what? There was something about when he learned that he could punch, that his confidence, grew, and he was like, oh, and that's what I was trying to do as a parent.
Nice.
By the way,
Nice.
But you
Trying
know
to
this
raise a
shit. You don't know
man.
what's right or wrong.
I'm trying to raise a man. He is all this stuff with I'm not whatever, and I'm not trying to get into people's genders. But now we have to have gender parties, and they don't even know what gender their kid is until they're 8 anyway. So I don't understand. I'm so confused.
Can you imagine? Oh, wait, I got to go with this concept. I love it. Because you're a parent. Can you imagine? And you go to a lot of birthday parties. Hey, we're gonna have a gender reveal.
Yeah.
But your kid's 8. Yeah, I know, but it's time.
right.
And all of a sudden, it's either is it gonna be
Jesus.
pink
Yeah.
smoke or blue smoke? Oh,
That's when they should do it because
Right.
I'm so sick of getting
gender
invited to
reveal
all
for
these
an 8-year-old.
extra stupid-
that's a great concept. I hope you're doing jokes about that.
I didn't, but I will.
No,
Yeah,
write
yeah,
it
yeah,
down.
That's good. Yeah.
That's a hilarious
Gender reveal
concept
for an
because it's
8-year-old.
so. Wow, man.
It's
Yeah.
so hard.
Let me just
because-
put it. I'm going to talk very vague.
What do
But in New York City, there's some interesting kids at a very early age, and I want to pull the parent aside and just say, how do you know?
My brother was a horse at age 7.
Right. Yeah.
Real.
Right.
My other brother would only eat green food because of the Incredible Hulk. There was about a 6-month
Sure.
period
Yeah.
where he would only eat green
Yeah.
food.
Right.
I mean, I also used to spit Lavoris because I thought I was Kiss. I mean, there's different things that you go through. I'm not... Yeah. If that's really what's going on, but you also don't indulge every whim of a child.
It's very interesting in New York, though. They're very accepting. And I'm fine with that.
Me too.
But how I was brought up, it's really strange. That's all I'll say.
I'm not saying I'm not fine with it.
We didn't even know what gay was when I was growing up.
Well, we used to say gay. I was trying to explain that to my son.
We didn't even know that. Like, I mean, people forget because, we've come a long way. Black president, gay rights, all that has exploded in only the last, 10, 15 years. But we grew up, and you didn't talk about that shit.
I didn't know what it was.
You knew, like, we had a kid in my high school that, was a speed walker.
On a daily basis.
And we just thought, like...
So you knew it right there.
We just thought his genetics were different, but it turned out he was very hippie.
Right?
And then, fast forward a whole bunch of years... Listen, it comes out now that it's okay to be able to say what you are. I'm like, oh, now it all makes sense. But we didn't talk about any of this shit.
Richard Simmons was on Love Connection.
Yeah.
I mean, women wanted to date Richard Simmons. We were dumb. All of us. Every single one of us were dumb.
Very masculine.
Unfortunately, I can't take credit for this. We're in the age range of Liberace.
Yes, is it?
He would be on the talk shows. Anthony famously did a bit about Liberace would be on these talk shows. And Merv Griffin or whoever the fuck it would be like, oh, no, Regis, let's say. When are you going to settle down?
Lady killer.
Even though we all knew, like, this
Right.
But you had to play the part, like, so, Liberace, when are you going to be settling down with a young lady? It's like, he came out in a feather dress. What are you talking about?
He had
with a train.
Right.
Yeah.
You got to give us older people a little time because the world's changing so fast. Give us a time to think about it and
help
breathe.
Me to take it out of my vernacular. How about the Aaron Hernandez documentary where they're trying to tell us all this stuff? I'm like, listen, take it down a notch. Don't take football from me.
Loved Aaron.
I thought it was awesome, but I needed a second to put it all
What about
together.
the father of the quarterback from high school?
Yeah, and he's sitting right with them.
No, I thought the father was cool, but
he was so cool. He was like, I accept my son for everything. And I'm like, I don't even fucking believe your son. Because Aaron's not around. I believe that happens.
No, I think Aaron Hernandez at the very least was bisexual. And that,
I don't doubt that he was.
Yeah. This guy's signing crazy contracts knowing that he murdered people. We've all had those weird dreams where you're like, oh, God, thank God that was a dream. In his life, it wasn't a dream. He knew he murdered people, and he's signing these crazy-ass contracts just waiting for the day that, they're finally going to be on to him.
Gangster.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
Because he could have got away with it. The car was parked in a Connecticut garage for a year. Someone could have drove it into the ocean.
That was his
point.
That was his help me out. His
cousin's house.
Cousin's house. Thank you. Yeah, football.
Yeah.
She's big in the football.
It's incredible.
What were you going to say about Aaron Hernandez with this?
I don't even remember. I'm a little drunk. I'm almost.
You're drunk. You had one beer.
Let's get some fried chicken and call it.
See, that's what happens when we go to Gebhards.
Yeah. No, I just think the whole thing with Aaron Hernandez is that I don't doubt that he might have been bisexual or whatever, but I also don't.
It's not fair because the guy can't defend himself. I get that.
And now anybody could say it's like.
But supposedly he was outed on sports radio in Boston and then hung himself very soon afterwards.
Really?
Yes, supposedly. The documentary talks about that.
Yeah, I know, but I don't. There's a ton of conspiracies that I want answers to. Do I think that what's his name killed Natalie Wood for shit? Sure. And I think
pushed her off.
The old pusheroo.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah.
We were onto the cruise ship thing years ago.
See?
Because all of a sudden in the paper we'd be like, oh, blah, blah, from Alabama. She was on the deck and she disappeared and, they're assuming that she drowned. It's like, yeah, that's people that hate their fucking spouse and go, hey, maybe we can...
Hey, baby, take another shot. You think you can stand on that rail?
Yeah, maybe we can rekindle our relationship. Let's take a cruise and try to figure this out. Next thing you know, it's a late night walk on the deck, and you do the old, what did Patrice call it? The old rock coat.
But can if you really want to do conspiracy theories, there's a little boy in upstate New York who was killed. No one knows who it was. His mother was dating a black basketball coach, so they were upset in the small community because her prior boyfriend was a sheriff, and they felt like he was a racist sheriff.
Oh, wow.
Okay? There's this young couple across the hallway. Now, meanwhile, when I tell you all this stuff, they're after the sheriff. People are thinking it's the sheriff. People think it's the coach.
Mm-hmm.
Those are when you watch the documentary, those are the only two suspects that they present to you.
Right.
The coach and the sheriff.
Right.
The young couple across the apartment hallway said they heard a noise while they were watching Dexter. I go, those are the fucking bastards who did it. Yeah. When you watch Dexter, you feel like, I wonder
empowered.
if I could kill somebody.
Right.
What a great.
Right?
You can
And
do
they
this.
started with the kid.
Yeah.
That's what happened. It's those two bastards
That's
right there.
it.
That's really
yeah,
funny.
Yeah. Good
But no one's
theory.
going to listen to me. But I can't.
How's your dad?
I try. Crazy. Always something. Man, the whole healthcare system is it's a cult.
Right.
It's
Right.
the legal mafia.
Well, let's get back to the coronavirus. So they want everyone, if you're feeling flu symptoms, go get tested. And then there's all over Twitter is like, I thought I was doing the right thing, and I was better off not going to get tested because now I have a $3,000 fucking bill.
Yeah.
Stay home and hydrate, fuckers.
How about
I
this?
mean, let's just do that.
No, but that's going to make this coronavirus. You guys don't believe it, but worse because of our healthcare system.
I'm probably
You
gonna
try to do the right thing, and you go to like an urgent care, and like, all right, well, you're not properly insured, so this all of a sudden you're hit with a giant bill because you're trying to keep people around you safe.
Right.
We took him, they dropped him and they paralyzed him after a gallstone.
Yeah,
Okay,
we
that's
talked
the
about this
story
on-
about it.
Oh,
Okay,
shit,
so whatever.
okay.
So that's crazy.
They literally dropped
They literally dropped him
her
after
father.
that. Okay, so he's now paralyzed. Now, he also got pneumonia a couple weeks ago, right? So we take him to the emergency room. There's a doctor that they're sending home because he's coughing and he's got a fever and he just got off a cruise in the Orient. He went to Taiwan.
Motherfucker.
And this
Goddamn.
asshole
This is what's
showed
happening
up
in
in the
Washington.
ER.
Right.
This is what's happening in Washington
He
State.
showed up to be the doctor at the ER.
That's the royal flush
Jesus
of coronavirus.
Christ.
Where'd you go?
Cruise ship.
I went
The Far East.
I went Vietnam, China.
Right.
He
We
was
stopped
in
everywhere.
Vietnam, for real. He was in
Have you ever had a bat in Wuhan? It's fucking amazing.
Right. We decided to go to Iran for
Jesus.
lunch. What?
Yeah,
Now
yeah.
you're at work on Monday? Get out of here.
He showed
Great.
up in the ER. I was like,
God
but they haven't
damn.
told everybody. I
Fuck.
posted it on my
Shit,
Facebook
man.
to tell people. There are people that I know who work at
Yeah.
the hospital had no clue about it.
Every time my kids get sick, my wife wants to run them to the doctor's office. I'm like, don't do
No, I think you
that.
get sicker at the
We
doctor.
know the basic shit.
Right.
You get the combo platter. You went in there for strep, and now he has the flu and everything else because everyone
Yeah.
else is sick in there. I'm like, avoid those places. We know the symptoms and what it possibly could be, right?
Right. Just
And
walked
then-
in with this, but now he's got a touch of the hantavirus.
Well, right.
Right.
Like,
And our
fuck.
doctor's office has, if you're sick, sit here. If you're, do you have this?
Yeah, they're separate.
It's the
Oh,
most
it is.
insane
Is that
thing.
it?
And if you're not sick, sit over here. I walk in with sick kids and I go, let's walk to the we're not sick area.
Right.
Everyone goes to the
Yeah.
we're not sick
By the way,
area.
it's
Sit
not
there, straighten
separated
up.
by
Why would
plexiglass.
you sit in the we're sick area? Because we're all human beings and know,
Yeah.
well, if we sit in the sick area, we're going to come out of here with other
It's a fucking
shit.
sick pen of kids.
It's the equivalent of the smoking and non-smoking on a
Yes,
plane in
yes,
the 70s.
right.
Same air. The problem is our generation grew up with a shit ton of rules. If you wanted to succeed, you had to follow these rules, X, Y, Z.
Right.
Do this, do this, do this. Right? Now, those rules are thrown out the window, which is cool. That's fine. You don't
Right.
have to. Like, people want to be... I look at comedy now, right? They don't necessarily want to be comics. They want to be famous.
Oh my God,
Okay.
you nailed it.
And so it's not about what your act is or
Right.
what your voice is or what you don't necessarily want to play Des Moines, Iowa.
Right.
You just want to be famous and you want to have big numbers on your
They
Instagram.
want the shortcut.
And that's it.
I was trying to explain the Chris Matthews firing because it really bothered me, and I was reading some of the articles, and there's some women things in there that's speaks to the Me Too movement, but there was also a lot of stuff how he handled his staff, and he was like tough to get along with it. And I'm like, there was a time we were really competitive, especially in radio. Like, there was no guarantee you had a job. Nowadays, it's a guarantee, which is so strange to me. In radio, like, one bad ratings book and you were out the door.
Yeah.
So everyone understood that, and it got ugly. And you're yelling at this person like, you're an idiot. Like, why did you do that wrong? Because you all knew, like, the next ratings book could be the end of the show. And some of that came out in the Chris Matthews firing, and I'm like, I get that. We all, like, you know, there'd be a lot of yelling and screaming, but in the end, we all knew we were one team working towards a goal, like to make sure this show could be as good as possible, and then we would reap the rewards. And nowadays, with this new generation, like, oh my God, you're yelling at me? Oh my God, I got to go to HR. It's
Bobby Knight had no problems with recruitment. And
Right.
He hit
None.
fuckers with chairs.
Right.
And that's where we
Because
come
they
from.
were
Yeah,
champions.
right.
But that's where we come from. But now producers coming out like, Chris Matthews was mean to me. And it's like, yeah, because it's a pressure cooker. There's a million TV show hosts trying to get the ratings. And if you don't get the ratings, you're out the fucking door. And that plays into it. But there was always an understanding, like, even if it got ugly, like in the old days on the O&A show, you know, there'd be talks afterwards like, yeah, sorry, you know, but, you know, we're in this, man. You know, we got to all, like, perform and be on the same page. And now it's like, oh, my God,
No, the
I
ends
can't
used
believe
to-
you had the gall to,
Okay.
you know.
It's communicating with millennials. Dad's in the hospital, right? He's getting his heart rate's running up to 165. We're like, hey, not to get too into medical stuff, but he needs his medicine, which is
Right.
called. Give him his medicine. The nurse goes, the doctor's in with another patient. It's an emergency. I'm like, he's at 165. He's not,
Yeah.
You can clearly see he's in AFib. He's gonna
Yeah.
he lives in one chamber of his heart. You know. I go, well, it's an emergency here. Well, I don't know what to do because he's in with the other patient. And I'm like, you have one doctor here,
Yeah.
right?
Wow.
You have one
Yeah.
doctor.
Yeah.
And she's like, he's in with another patient. And she walked out. And I said, okay, then I'm just gonna call 911. They told me that was aggressive. I said it from
You
the
went
other
too hard.
side
Yeah.
of the room.
That's too much.
Aggressive.
Wow.
We didn't understand aggressive
Right.
when we were growing up.
Aggressive, it would have been
Oh my
yanking her by
God.
her throat, shoving
Right.
her up against the fucking wall. Well, get that motherfucker in here right now.
You're being aggressive.
That's what I wanted
Yeah,
to do.
yeah.
I
Right.
was polite by saying, okay, I'll
Yeah,
just
man.
call
Call
911.
Oh, that's aggressive.
From the
Right.
other side of the
Right,
room.
yeah.
I wanted to yoke her.
Oh, my
right?
God. Aggressive.
You were aggressive.
Your dad's heart rate is up to 165.
165.
And
he's
I would
laying
imagine
down,
he's well
quite
into his
frankly.
70s.
Right.
Yeah.
He's laying
That's
down.
not healthy.
Oh, my
He's
God.
laying down.
Laying
He's
down
not
at
like-
165. It's not
Right,
like he's climbing a rock wall.
Right, you know, he's he's sleeping.
But
at
you're
165.
aggressive.
Right.
And she's like, oh, the doctor's in dealing with an emergency. And I'm like, well, this is an emergency. Well, I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
I said, okay, well, then I'll just call 911. And
Oh, my God.
and the what's her called? The nursing supervisor the next day said, well, you got aggressive with our nurse. And I said, what?
Oh,
What do you
my
do? Maybe you're
God,
mistaken.
yeah.
I'm so dumb. I go, maybe you're mistaking me. Maybe someone else in another room.
I get all
Right.
that. We just come from a different time.
I don't know how to talk to him.
These
I
kids, they
literally
don't.
need
There's no. I don't know.
Everything's aggression, conflict. Like
Yeah, but
just
there's-
having a conversation.
But
you know?
they feel like they're in, and that's it.
yeah.
But what is it called when you?
But then they want to be really famous. It's like, but they're not willing to put in the
then
work
they're
and the
nice to me if
heartache.
They find out I'm verified on Twitter.
All right, there you go.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I'm not on Instagram, so it doesn't matter. That's all those
Yeah.
years of radio. When my interns used to start my car in the snow. Imagine
Yeah.
trying to ask them to do
Oh
that
God,
now.
no! God, no!
Because I got here at 4:30. There's
Yeah.
tons of snow and
Yeah.
ice on the car. It's now 10. Go outside and scrape off
We
my
have to
car
do a
and start
podcast
it.
just talking about radio.
Oh, that'd be
Because Tammy did
hysterical.
radio a lot.
yeah?
Yeah.
Did some with Jenny McCarthy at Sirius XM, but also did radio
I
before
started
that.
in radio on a morning show.
It is such a
making every mistake.
stupid business.
I got out of it
Radio's
quick.
so stupid. I thought I would do it just for a little bit because I realized how dumb it
I
was.
brought one
Yeah.
of his shows, his and Anthony's shows, in for an air check. Imagine how jacked up I was. But I didn't want to do just regular radio.
No,
I
no.
wanted to try to do something, but you have to have someone.
I'm-
It's so rare what you did and how that.
Yeah.
That's such rarefied air because it doesn't happen. The parameters that
Right.
are placed upon you, and also finding someone who's willing to walk the plank
Yeah.
with you, is rare.
But that's why it pissed me off about Chris Matthews, because it's a pressure cooker.
Yeah.
Especially, I mean, people don't understand this because radio is gone now. Right. Podcasting is not really, there's not much pressure doing this. Satellite radio, if they hire you, you're there for 20 years. They don't give a fuck.
Right.
They don't look at any numbers, really.
No.
But I come from a time where we fought for curb space at a concert with our stupid station vans. We'd get in fistfights on the sidewalk. You know all this. Right. My wife, who's way smarter than me, I was really going at it with the Chris Matthews thing, how frustrated I was. Look, like I said, the female stuff, because I guess he was flirting and he was objectifying women and stuff, that's tough.
He's
and
an older guy, slapping some ass.
Yeah, that's a longer discussion. Yeah. But the stuff about treating the staff and yelling and screaming and all that, I really do get all that. And my wife put me in my place. I got to be honest with everyone. She's like, look, the younger generation, they're doing things differently. She's like, I'm sure when you were coming up, you felt like you knew better and were giving everyone above you a hell of a time. I'm like, God damn it, you're right. Because when we moved to New York at NEW, these asshole jocks that were on the radio for 20, 25, 30 years still believed in the music, and that's what people cared about. And me and Anthony came in like, fuck them. No one gives a shit about Jethro Tull Aqualung anymore. Right. And we were assholes to, the old timers. Yeah. And she's like, that's what's happening here. Chris Matthews had a way, and it worked for many, many years, but the younger generation are like, no, this is how we're doing things right now. And I'm like, God
they're not
damn it,
creating.
But she's right in a way, unfortunately, because it goes back to your generation thing where you're dealing with so many different generations. It's like we want the whole world to think and act like we do, right? But the fact is, life goes on and progresses, and unfortunately, this is what this younger. I don't want it either, but the younger generation is in the majority, unfortunately, and Chris Matthews' way doesn't work anymore, and they showed him the fucking door, and I'm like, oh God, you're kind of right. I don't agree with it, but you're kind of right.
I don't mind if they come up with their own creativity, but they're remaking every movie we've ever had, every TV show. Come on, then, if that's okay, great, knock every single one of us out, because there's not a human being. I've objectified men, probably. I've objectified women.
You objectified men?
Sure, I fucking.
God damn it! How do you do
I
that?
went to a lot of NBA games.
How do you do that?
She said objectified men and women, though. So that's more impressive.
Objectified women because I lived in a stripper colony.
We're all old enough where you get that one guy at work and they're like, "Hey, she was looking at me funny." I'm like, "Oh my God, that was our dream growing up."
Yeah,
right. Remember the Demi Moore movie?
All that.
People were like,
"Who
what
cares?
A pussy."
You can objectify me all you want.
They were like, what?
All right. Pussy. But there's always a guy like, she hit on me and I like, oh my God, that's my dream. I mean, my wife is kind of right. She's like, it worked for Chris Matthews for a long time, but now it doesn't work anymore. These people aren't going to put up with that. I'm like, but they should, because that's where I come from, and I get.
Yeah, but you bounce. Yeah. Look at us.
Yeah.
We bounce. We both we were both crushed. He'll crush. He'll bounce. He'll find something else. That is the great part about now, is that I don't fucking have to appeal to the masses.
No.
I pick a demographic and stick with it.
I say this. I was at the top of the mountain for real. Most people know that.
Yeah, you were for sure.
It wasn't the greatest view. I'm having more fun now. And I talked to way less people. I did not enjoy it.
Yeah.
And I don't know what I could have done differently to actually enjoy it. I got financial freedom and this and that, but I was never a money guy. I would argue, if you take my wife and my kids out of the equation, that I was way happier with no money than I was when I became, into fame and cash.
Well, I think you are digging this, and I don't think you've ever been better. I love
this. This is fun. Thank you, Tammy Pescatelli.
I think you've been really you, and I'm not just saying that because I'm here.
Well,
I really am drunk, so I can tell you the truth right now.
We get a few more racist beers, and I'll explain why I'm happier.
And I think I just got a splinter in my elbow.
Did you from the table?
From the table.
Oh,
maybe what they do, shave down a beer barrel. But I don't know
you're
what's
holding
going on.
your elbow.
I think I really did.
Bleeding? Is it some serious?
I feel like it.
Not only is Tammy hot, she's a tough broad, but a splinter takes her out.
It's a wooden table. It could happen.
What the hell?
I think that's our out. I think it's our out. What do you want to promote, Tammy Pescatelli?
Well,
you got that great special coming out where you might have some issues.
Yeah, March 17th.
Ooh, right around the corner.
St. Patrick's Day, which is great for people
like
us.
I don't think you're going to have you will have an issue with that, because whenever you're promoting it, that's the conversation of what happened. Like the phone going off and like, this is not what I was trying to say. The goddamn phone or whatever. It seems like that's the story.
That's ideal, Judd, but that's not how it'll happen. What'll
Right.
happen? That sounds wonderful with the unicorns that are prancing by right now. But I do think that what'll happen is people
like,
will
"They're coming for me."
isolate just that sentence.
Right.
And women who have way less hair and shorter fingernails will fucking lose their goddamn minds.
Yeah, but then that'll become a thing that you're too good.
Fair enough.
You'll go with that.
I don't care.
You'll go with that.
Because I know how
I hope
met
that
her.
happens for real.
Well, thank you.
No, because it gets more people. It gets more people checking out your special, and I also know you can handle yourself. It'll become a thing.
I know how I did it. Don't tell me that I don't stick up for women. I've been
and
hanging
you explain
with this
yourself
shit for a long time.
Although explaining yourself in this day and age means nothing, unfortunately.
Yeah, I won't explain myself.
but. Okay, I just was as honest as I can be with you. Yeah, but you are.
What you said.
Right.
Yeah, because people only hear the voice in their head.
So they'll get what's the name of the special?
The Way After School Special.
Oh, right. You told me that. That's a great name.
It's nice because it really hits.
And it'll
the
be available
difference in
everywhere,
generation.
obviously.
And the Showtime special comes out on the 14th.
What is that?
Women of a Certain
Women of a
Age.
Certain Age, yeah.
I'm in the middle, so hang out through the middle.
Nice.
I got to pee so bad. Judd Jones.
Yes, sir.
He's doing a podcast now.
I love you, JJ.
That was a good meeting.
I thought you guys. I thought this would be a nice combination,
It's a fun time.
and I'm happy it worked.
Can I come back a lot? Can we do this some more?
Sure,
Can I be
anytime.
like one of your regulars?
Yes.
We're here every week almost now.
Yeah. Pretty much every week we're at Gebhards doing this.
It'd be fun.
It's fun.
don't
Just
have
look
to
for
come
us in the
every
window.
I just stop by. I just keep walking a dog past
We'll be right
just
here.
until you invite me in.
Judge, plug, and I got to run to the bathroom for real.
We had the comic strip this month and JuddJones.com and the Diary of Judd Jones podcast.
Beautiful.
2 episodes in. I've got a pretty good response, man. I'm happy
Beautiful.
with it. So
That's
it's fun.
awesome.
Yeah.
It's cool. Why not?
My audience is starting to check it out, so
I think that's what it is, man. I appreciate
and I
it. For
say,
sure.
do that. So, all right, Tammy, you know.
Yeah, I love you. Thank you.
I love the Tammy Pescatelli, and that's it.
Good
Gebhards,
fun. Good
thank you
times.
very much. I
Thanks.
got to pee so bad.
Yeah.
Did you really?
Look at your
you did scraper salt.
Oh, my God, it's huge.
No, it's not bleeding.
I can't see. Can
It's
you
not
get
bleeding. It's not, it's just a scrape of skin.
Yeah. Oh.
just-
Yeah.
You got
No,
rocked.
I think you just scraped
You
it
got
on the
rocked
edge
by
of this
split.
I
rock.
told you I found
You
it.
did. You did.
I didn't just make that up because I'm a
Jesus.
baby.